Right, and that should mean that we are live. Hello everybody and welcome to the Freshman League here in the Netherlands, round 3 of 13 in this championship, and I'm joined by...
Hello guys, it's me.
your race winner from this race, the weekend league that happened on Sunday. It got cars just going out on track now. I don't think anyone has any penalties from here, so all drivers are allowed out on track here. Obviously, the short circuit in the Netherlands, about a 1 minute 10 lap time, probably 1 minute 9 or 8 we'll see in qualifying, a very competitive time. Obviously, the top two in the championship, Absolute and Jutsi, we're looking to duke it out again here around the Zandvoort circuit. Very nice track this. A new one for the calendar. Obviously didn't get to race in real life, but we can still come here in the virtual realm. So yeah, Natty, you can explain to us a little bit about the track then.
Yeah, it's a very tricky technical track that each corner links into one another, and if you get the right line you can really find some time. And it's quite a track. It's quite harsh on power. You've got to kind of ease your way into the power. You can't just put the foot down on some of the corners, get onto some of the curves, and it can send the car around. So yeah, it's quite a semi-tricky track for some of the drivers, but I'm sure it'll be a great race nevertheless.
We've got yellows in sector 3-1 car going fairly slowly. I believe that was Brizzy there, but obviously they're massively banked corners around here, obviously re-profiled for Formula 1 racing around this track in a bid to try and improve overtaking. You'd have a bit of a processional race in the weekend league, well, not so much in the academy. In fact, the academy was an insane race. If you haven't seen that, go and watch that. I will add a little caveat of there was some rain, so yeah, if you enjoy the... Oh, you've got that Dazzler going very wide at turn 1 there, as they were just talking while we wait for some lap times to trickle in. I believe Dazzler was also on... He was on the lap at that point. Hampton's already invalidated his. But GSI Bates comes towards the end of an outlap. Vinci now coming through the second section. I believe will be our first car to set a time here. So let's see what he can do. Through the second of 2 DRS zones now. Down this back straight with apparently the organisers of the Dutch Grand Prix actually said that Codemaster was a bit ambitious with all the flags and grandstands they put in this section, so you know whether or not we'll see that in real life when we eventually go there. Well, remains to be seen. I guess we're coming through now. The final 2 corners is really easy to run wide and validate your lap here. As now Vinci's going to come to the line, DRS open, manages to keep enough ERS to the line. It's going to be a 1 minute 12.1. Our bag of breath immediately beats that on 1:11.8, but still, Natty, well, time's a lot slower than yours in the weekend league.
Yeah, it's early days here in the qualifying session. Only a few minutes have passed, and I'm sure there's a lot more time left to find. But from last week's race in China...
sorry to interrupt, Natty, but we've got Robert Codfather's had a spin on the Banks curve! And that was an Alfa Romeo of RC8, getting very close to hitting last there. That was a bit of a close one.
Right.
Yeah, fine margins.
What I was going to say before Robert Codfather spanning at the final corners, after the race in China, we have some of the drivers picked up a few penalties. Infamela has an LLP3, Ellison has an LLP2, and Centurion has an LLP1. So the LLP3 is a quali ban, so Infamela won't be able to do a quali lap in this race. Centurion has an LLP1, meaning he has 10 minutes. He's allowed out with 10 minutes left to go in the session, and Ellison with an LLP2 means he only has 5 minutes adding quali.
Yeah, and as I was just saying before, this isn't the first race we've ever had at Zandvoort and Gavra race, but it is the first 50% race that we've ever had around this track. So whether the medium or the soft tyre here is more beneficial to start, we'll have to wait and see. Absolute right now is out on the medium tyres, or champion... Oh no, not championship leader, I don't believe. I think it's Jutsi, isn't it? I'll just have a little check of that, little check-a-rooney.
It's Jutsi.
Yeah, it's Jutsi, yeah, so...
Absolutely closely behind her with 33.
Yeah, so obviously Absolute in second place wants to try and get rid of his teammate there. He's currently in second place on the front row. On those medium tyres then, Natty, and like I said, we haven't actually seen a 50% race down here, although I believe a one stop from soft to potentially hards or mediums can work.
Yeah, I've heard the one stop from soft to hard isn't too much of a stretch, but apparently if it's a slightly overcast race, then the soft to mediums is an unlikely strategy, but it's not impossible. So, quite a nice diverse strategy so far.
Yeah, you've got Absolute coming towards the end of his lap now. Let's see what time the German can do. He's going to come to the line now. It's a 1 minute 10.3. Goes pole. Goes to provisional pole position then. This would be his second pole position out of 3 races for Absolute if he manages to keep this, but currently sat on provisional pole, 4 tenths ahead of Tonio's in second place. Again, we're approaching a little bit of a lull here, it looks like, in qualifying. Got Sabo on a lap, a 10th up on his personal best time. That's probably the trickiest part of this track, really, that corner there. It's shifting down into 3, then swinging it back on it, swinging the car back on itself. Coming through the hairpin. Now for the final 2 corners, getting really easy to invalidate your lap. Saba manages to get away with it though. DRS open to the line, nearly runs out of ERS, does run out of ERS. It's a 1 minute 11.2, so improves on his time, but not on his position. But those are 3 lap old mediums though now, Natty. Surely he won't want to start the race on those.
Yeah, they'd have a Red Bull off. It's Absolute. He spanned at the final part of the start of sector 2, so I believe he's on a win lap, so yeah, the warm mediums on Saber, he wouldn't want to start the race on those. He might have about 7-10% on those already, so with the top 4, 3 of them were actually starting have qualified on the mediums, so it's been a really good qualifying session for them so far.
Yeah, definitely. I think Jitsi would be a little bit disappointed to be that far behind his teammate. Has got Ace de Sabo. Oh, was that a bit of lag there? Oh, it must have been, because Ace de Sabo seemed to slow down a lot behind the Ferrari of Sabo and Mister, the 2 Sabos together on track. But yeah, I think it's coming through the middle sector now. It does say he's on an out lap though, so game doing weird things, I think. But yeah, there's hello to Pierre in the chat as well. I mean, some more of you come give us a bit of company. Oh, it's GSY Bates has a very low speed spin there coming out of the hairpin onto the back straight. That was quite a bizarre one now. So he's just getting on the power a bit too early, looks like.
Yeah, like I said at the start, getting on the power early seems to be something these guys have to watch out for. Obviously the curb on the inside as well for that corner. I had a few half spins in the weekend league myself at that particular corner, so these guys need to kind of stay off the curbs a little bit, and then hopefully we'll eliminate issues like that.
Yeah, and I believe you're actually missing a driver, missing a Willie Sanker, I think, in the Haas. He's been able to turn up today. Unfortunately, weren't able to find the replacement driver in time. It looks like hello to Jape in the chat as well. Oh, as Victor's gone very wide there through that corner. With a little bit of understeer, maybe we should put some more wing on the front of that car to get that front end to do what he wants. Got Vinci now out on the lap, coming through sector 1 now. Again, look at the really massively banked corner. I don't think you really realise it till you actually drive this track, just how banked these corners actually are. They are massive. As coming through this undulating section, are probably my favourite part of a track, flat out, just fully send it through these corners. Now for the long right hand of the massive sand trap on the outside, down to 6th gear. Runs that curve a little bit on the outside. He's a 10th up on his time, Vinci. Just could potentially be a decent lap for the Renault driver. Coming through this corner now, through and into the long left hand hairpin, and a short shift through 4th into 5th, one would have thought does do so. DRS open now down the back straight in towards this sort of stadium section, I like to call it, down into 3rd gear, hooks it up. Very solid lap from Vinci, it looks like, taking the 2nd apex later on in the corner. So now coming towards the final 2 corners. Again, don't run too wide here, it will invalidate your lap time. Doesn't matter, you managed to get away with it actually, putting 2 wheels on the curb. That would usually invalidate your lap time, but anyway, Vinci's going to come to the line now. What's it going to be? So 111.1, so goes into 4th place, but not fast enough to dislodge Jitsi or Absolute then, or even Tonio's from the front row.
Yeah, good tidy lap from Vinci, but Absolute Tonio's appear to be coming out on the soft tyres pretty shortly. They're still in the pits for now, but surprisingly there are quite a few drivers actually who haven't been able to set a lap, whether they're leaving it to at the end of the session or whether they have penalties, or I'm not too sure, but we'll just have to wait and see what those guys do, as I believe Triple O's about to come across the line with his mediums.
Yeah, I've just cut the camera to him now, Natty. He's run out of VRS well before he got to the line. Goes into 9th position in the 1 minute 11.9, so I'm not... Did Triple O have a penalty from last round?
I'm not too sure, I don't think so. I think the only penalties were Ellison, Inframella and Centauri.
Because that's a very odd strategy then, going this late on in the session in mediums. That would imply to me that the Mercedes potentially looking to start on those. Because Alex and Mac is actually out on the soft tyres, so difference of strategy so far than in the Mercedes pit garage. We've got Hampton and Bruzy now together out on track. Bruzy coming through the final 2 corners now, also on a lap. Doesn't look like it's going to be too competitive. I think he's made a mistake somewhere in that middle section and ran out of VRS. Hopefully he gets to the line, actually comes in the pits, so gives up on that lap, and Hampton actually follows him in. So the Team McLaren drivers will have enough time for another run. They'll definitely have enough time for another run, but got Triple O now coming back into the pit lane. Victor 90 coming into the pit lane as well. RC8, your 3rd place driver in the championship. Coming through the final sector now. What kind of time can he do? Down to 4th gear for this corner. Doesn't manage to invalidate there. His good driving from the Alfa Romeo driver through the long banks, right-hander, DRS open. Brings the car over to the inside line. Gets the shortest run line. It's a 1 minute 10.2. So that's provisional pole then for the Alfa Romeo driver. So good pace from RC8. Statement of intent certainly, but I'm sure Jutsi and Absolute will be looking at that knowing that they can probably go a little bit faster.
Yeah, there's 5 minutes left in the session. The track's going to be getting quicker and quicker and quicker if we go through the session. Top with Absolute Antonio, so been in the pits on those soft tyres for some time now. And Jutsu Kevin 4th place on the mediums. I wonder whether he'll go out on for another lap on soft.
Well, he's come out again, Natty.
On the mediums.
But he's on the mediums, yeah. So then, looks like Jutsi and Absolute are going for a medium to hard strategy. That's very interesting. So Jutsi will have to have done one more flying lap on these mediums than his teammate, who also is on the medium tyre. So that's very interesting then from the Red Bull driver, also trying to get one up on his teammate, trying to improve his grid position a bit. It is difficult to overtake here, I think, as we discovered in the academy yesterday, but I guess Jutsi waiting a little bit for the track to rubber in a bit more, for some more people to go out and set their lap times. Now it's a grippier track to try and do this lap time on, and can he get maybe into pole position and dislodge RCA, or even knock his teammate off the front row?
Yeah, starting on the medium tyres around this track is probably it's actually a really pretty nice strategy to be on if you can qualify high up the grid, because it's like you say, quite a tricky track to overtake on. So if they can get track position on the mediums, wait for the soft runners to burn out their tyres, and then that'll give them some clean air for the race.
Yeah, definitely, but we'll have to wait and see what kind of lap time Jutsi can do. If he invalidates his lap, then the extra work he's put into these, extra energy that he's put into these medium tyres will be all for nothing, because he'll have more worn tyres and no lap time to show for it. So anyway, coming across the line now to start his lap. So Jutsi down towards turn 1, about 72 metres on a brake at, down into 3rd gear, short shift to 4th on exit. Nicely done there from Jutsi, he's kept it all together so far. Through the long, look at the banking here at turn 3. Of course, can't get over how banked these corners are, but now through this fast flowing section, through the left, don't touch the curb on the inside, through the right now, still flat out, through this long right hand here, long right speed right hander, down to 7th gear. Jutsi keeps it all together, good driving so far. He's 2 tenths off in his personal best lap time, Natty. That isn't enough to put him into 3rd at the moment, but not enough to put him onto the 1st. So Robert Codfather is off the track. Maybe just getting out of the way, but he's... Oh, that's a bit dicey. Robert Codfather seems to be going very slowly, Natty. Not on the track either. He's picking up speed now, so clearly just trying to get out of the way there for drivers. Maybe a little bit too generous, one would have thought. And now coming through the second sector, Jutsi only 2 tenths down his time. He's still not gained enough to put himself on the front row. What can he do for the final sector now? He hasn't run out of ERS, got the DRS open, flat out to the line. What's it going to be? 1 minute 10.5, does go into 3rd, but still, Natty, 2 tenths off his teammate in 2nd.
Both Red Bulls then in 2nd and 3rd, both on the medium tyres, so they're going to be in a very good position for, in this race. Judging by their decision to start on the medium tyres, I'm going to assume that it's going to be a dry start to this race. So maybe rain could come for the second half of the race, and that's why they've opted for the medium tyres, to try and push them out to a potential wet stint.
I hadn't actually thought about that. That could be the reason why we've seen drivers out here on the mediums so early. We've got, well, obviously everyone else in the softs, he hasn't seen a weather report or doesn't think it's going to come in time for the first round of pistols, but Vinci did exactly what it's so easy to do around. He just invalidated his lap time there on the exit of turn 13. And I've got Dazzler coming through turn 14. He's invalidated his lap as well. Not enough time to go out for another run, so that's going to be it for Dazzler. Oh, Robert Codfather getting a massive tank slapper there through the high-speed right hand, and he's got off the track again. That's allowed the McLaren through of Brizzy currently up in 9th place on the lap as well. So whether those yellow flags affect his lap time, well, as they might have slightly 2.2 seconds down, Natty.
Yeah, a few drivers now are doing on their flying laps. Only a minute 30 left to go in the session. There's some racing points coming around. It's Ellison. Ellison comes off the line to start his lap, I believe.
Yeah, just to start his lap. Infamous, obviously, with that LLP3, not allowed to come back out on track. Robert Codfather, that's going to be his qualifying over then, down in 15th position.
Disqualified.
Absolutely been disqualified.
They're blocking the pit lane.
Oh. As that is a massive turn up for the championship. Hit absolute 11, disqualified from qualifying, will start in 19th position. As what has happened there? Pulling over to the side of the road, Absolute is out of this qualifying session. And that is massive for the championship. Sabbath and Mister goes into 4th position, but for Absolute, I have no idea what's happened there, Natty.
I didn't see it myself. I only just got the message in the bottom hand side of the screen, but he was on for such a great strategy in this race, starting on the mediums in 2nd or 3rd place. It was looking so good for both of the Red Bull guys, but I guess that wasn't planned in his strategy to start on the mediums. From the back.
And he's just said so in the chat as well. And obviously, Tonio's just clipping the grass there on the entry to turn 6, I believe that was, and yeah, that's going to be his qualifying lap over as well. But RC8's gone back to pole position over 1 minute 10.2. But for Absolute, obviously being disqualified from the session will mean that he can't start on whatever tyre he wants. We've got RC8 tried to go for a lap on the medium tyres there at the end, but it hasn't come off for him, and he's invalidated the lap. So we'll start from pole, but we'll be on those soft tyres as well. So that's have to wait and see how that plays out. Tonios has backed off his lap. You've got Tunturi still on the lap, just beginning his lap on the soft tyres. Let's see what lap time he can do. Is coming towards into the middle sector. Sorry. But yeah, Absolute. That was. If you're on the chat, can you explain to us what happened? Oh, he wanted to let both of the Mercedes pass, but he was still in the pit exit, so the game disqualified him, it looks like. That's hugely unfortunate. Then he's trying to get out of the way for other cars, and yeah, the game gave him a bit of a disqualification. But Tunturi now 3/10 up, or almost 3/10 up on his time, coming through the second of the 2 DRS ends now down the back straight in towards the sports stadium section, down into 3rd gear, gets it nicely hooked up. Back on the power, short shift through the gears now towards the final 2 corners. Will he invalidate his lap time? Hasn't used all of the track there on the left hand side. That's going to compromise him a little bit through this section. Plays it very conservative as well down towards the apex. What kind of lap time can Racing Point do? Goes into 8th. 1:11.4. So very solid lap time there from Tunturi. Puts both Racing Points up into the top 10. And Brizzy, the last person to complete a lap, will be the last person across the line. Coming towards the end of the 2nd sector now. Cryptech disappointed that there's no 1 minute 09s. I think drivers looking for the long term here, really starting on the mediums and not going like flat out for the softs, it looks like. As Brizzy now coming through the end of sector 2 for the final couple of corners. What kind of lap time can the McLaren do? Coming towards the line. Comes into the pits. That was peculiar there from the McLaren, but that's going to be the end of qualifying, it looks like, unless the game has done something strange. I think it has done. Jitsi Kev, 1 minute 9.9. Oh! He did that time on the stop. It came up that he'd already done his qualifying session. Oh, the game has glitched on us, hasn't it? Because it came up with the checkered flag next to Jitsi's name. But, I mean, either way, Jitsi's just gone to the pole then, with a 1 minute 9.9, right at the death there. And that's on the soft tyres as well, Natty.
So Jitsi kept deciding he doesn't want to start the race in the medium tyres, so changed his mind last minute, quite literally, and has gone out and set the pole lap on the soft tyre. So top 10 will be on soft.
completely unbeknownst to us, apparently, as Jutsi they're sneaking in a lap time, as you said, Natty, right to the death, and the game has indeed glitched on us, so if you still have about 5 minutes of qualifying left, I wouldn't be surprised, guys. So, yeah, if anyone does make any improvements, you probably won't be able to catch it on here, unfortunately, because, well, I've got checkered flags next to everybody's name.
Absolute, starting from the back of the grid. It's not exactly where he's going to want to start. It's a tricky track to overtake on, so it's gonna be interesting to see how he makes his way through the pack in today's race and where he can finish in his Red Bull.
I guess that it's definitely going to be an Arab-style last-to-first challenge for Absolute. As let's see what you can do now in the race. We'll be starting on those medium tyres, so on a bit of a conscious strategy then to the people in front of him. Can he make it work for him potentially and get back up and towards the points-paying positions? Anyway, your top 10 is going to be Jutsi on pole, right at the snatching it away from RC8 right at the death there, who's in second place. Turnios is in third, Sabin the Mister in fourth, GSY Bates in fifth, Victor 90 in sixth, creating a 3-6 for the Alpha Tauri team. Vinci is going to start 7th in the Renault. Tenturi in 8th in the Racing Point. Ace of Sabu is going to start 9th in the Alfa Romeo. And Edison is going to round out your top 10 in the Racing Point. Brizzy in 11th. Alpaki Breath in 12th. Alex Gunnermack in 13th. Triple O 14th. Dazza in 15th. Hampton in 16th. Robert Codfather is in 17th. And Infamil and Absolute. Infamil but LLP3 not able to qualify. And Absolute, your second place driver in the championship, disqualified from the qualifying session. As this just gives us a chance to have a look at the chat. Let's everyone in the chat, all 33 of you now joining us. Nice to see a big audience back here again. Well, a big audience for us at Gavra Racing anyway, but this does give us a chance to plug the podcast, Natty. As recently we have hit 1,000 subscribers over on the YouTube, so if you didn't catch it on Sunday, I think it was just about a 3-hour live stream just talking about, well, basically how awesome that is, and we did play a couple of games with people who are watching the stream and stuff like that, so we did basically do like a 3-hour long podcast, so if it does interest you, then I would suggest you go and watch the live stream. Also, if you would like to see any of the other episodes of the podcast, they are all on YouTube. It's the Grid Slot Gavra Racing podcast, and it is, well, me, Tiger and Natty all put a lot of work in to get that out to you weekly when we can. But anyway, we're going to see what tyres everyone outside the top 10, decides to go on here. I'm gonna, yeah, hopefully see a difference in strategy. And difference in strategy is what we've been given. Everyone apart from Robert Codfather outside the top 10 has opted for medium tyres, apart from the two Mercedeses. They had opted to start on the hard tyre, so those two will be definitely going about 24 laps into this race before we see a scheduled pit stop from those two guys. As that is very bold from the two Mercedes boys, so we'll have to wait and see how that starts out, and they will be quite slow in those opening stages. If there's an early safety car, then that could really damage the effectiveness of their strategy. Obviously they won't be able to change onto another set of tyres and go to the end of the race. They have to use two different compounds, unless, Natty, they know it's going to rain, in which case this could be an absolute masterstroke.
Yeah, it's a shame we can't see the weather forecast up here in the commentary box, but those drivers all know the weather, and maybe starting on the hard tyres, if it does rain, will make them go wrong. Make them make the one stop from the hard to possibly into or even the wet, depending on how quickly the rain might come. But just having a look at the sky, it's looking quite clear, not many clouds, so I'm not too sure if we are going to be gifted with a lot of rain.
Yeah, I cannot see any clouds whatsoever, Natty, so unless the weather's going to do a complete 180 on us here and really start to chuck it down come the end of the race, I'll have to wait and see. As you said, you can't see the weather up here in the commentary booth, so we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. As Jutsi Kev, Jutsi and Absolute kind of created a massive Red Bull sandwich here. Well, one starting on pole, one starting in 19th and last. So yeah, can Absolute overtake the filling, if you will, and get anywhere near his teammate and championship rival today?
Yeah, he's starting on the medium tyre, so he's on the same tyre as pretty much everyone else in front of him. But it's just how quickly can he go through those cars. Stay out of any lap 1 incidents that might happen. Obviously, it's a tight corner into turn 1. and we're about to get ready for the start.
As here we go now, we're going to go to 5 red lights. And it's going to be lights, no it's not going to be lights out because the game's glitched again. And we are away then for the Dutch Grand Prix, absolutely off to a good start. RC8 as well and pulls in behind his championship rival. Got the AlphaTauri now going around the outside. They were trying to go on the outside, got contact in the back there. That was a Renault going off. Oh, we've got a Williams round as well. And that's going to be a safety car then straight off the bat. We've got our Bagu Breath round in the background.
The full safety car after turn 1. I believe our Bagu Breath came together with either, I think it was a Mercedes or a McLaren. They tried going 3 or possibly even 4 wide into turn 1 towards the back. Absolute picked himself up a 5-second time penalty for colliding with someone under the safety car. So that's really unfortunate for him. He's moved his way up into 14th place, and with this lap 1 safety car, I wonder how many people are going to pit in this race, because I'm not too sure the hard tyres can make it the full 35 laps in this race.
Yes, certainly not. I don't think we'll see any pit stops this early on in the race, but absolutely already up into 14th then from that chaotic start. I think this is the 3rd time in a row that we've had a first lap safety car here in the Freshman League, but yeah, it just shows all the drivers really pushing to try and make up as many positions as they can. The first lap got Triple and Infernal overtaken on the safety car, which isn't really allowed, but I guess the game is allowing it, so... Oh no, Triple O slowing down to that Infernal back through, there we go. But yeah, another safety car then straight off the bat, so... Oh, we do have cars in the pits, Natty, I was wrong! So we've got the top 4 in the pits. This must be for the hard tyres, surely. It is for the hard tyres. So Jitsi Kev in for the hards. And has this just played into Absolute's hands? Because where is Absolute now? Coming through turn 1, under safety car conditions. Can he get out in front of his teammate? He can. So, that has really turned the race on its head there. So first lap safety car has really upset the grid. So we are going to see cars potentially trying to go to the end of the race on hard tyres from lap 2.
I believe 5 cars pit on that lap after lap 1. Jutsi, RC8 Sabo, Tonio's and Ace Sabo, and Albago back in the profile just coming to the pits now. So interestingly, they got them. Some of them, I believe they've gone to the hard tyres. Some have gone onto the medium. So Sabo and Tonio's might be going for a medium or a medium hard. Jutsi might stretch those hards out, so we can go for a final stint on soft tyres.
That's very, very peculiar then, because surely on paper the one stop would be fast, especially with track position being quite important round here. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Again, gonna have to wait and see how it plays out, but still under the safety car at the moment. We probably won't get going this lap, so waiting for those last 2 cars to join the back of the queue. But yeah, that's going to leave GSY Bateson in the lead, with Victor in 2nd, Vinci's going to be in 3rd, Tunchuri's in 4th, Brizzy in 5th, Ellison in 6th, Alexander Mack on the hard tyres, up into 7th position with that safety car. Hampton's going to be in 8th, Absolute in 9th, running out your top 10 is going to be Infamella. So a very sort of topsy-turvy grid. We've gone from having to see 1 Red Bull make it through the grid to 2 Red Bulls now. As I thought, for a second I thought Absolute was going to come into the pits, but decidingly not. But yeah, very, very weird start then to this Dutch Grand Prix, as you know, Freshly never fails to disappoint in terms of action, but yeah, this is quite the crazy start.
Yeah, definitely, and it's almost like the top 10 and the bottom 10 completely swapped places after qualifying. As just looking at the position gained in this race, the top 10 have all moved up at least 4 positions in this race. The bottom half of the grid all having made a pit stop. But Absolute and Infamella both started from the back of the grid and have made their ways up into 9th and 10th from the start, all both on medium tyres, I believe. So, I mean, I have absolutely no idea now what the strategy is for some of these drivers, and whether safety cars are going to change things.
I'll be honest with you, Natty, I have no idea what the strategy is either. I have no... This is a completely new track. Again, like I said, the first time we've had a 50% race around here. Nobody really knows how far the hards can go. So, obviously, I guess the drivers in their practice must have tested it and seen that, well, they can apparently go for 34 laps, because that's how long we're going to have to go, looks like. Safety car will be in this lap then. So it does become Bates' prerogative as to when he decides to go. Just backing
Yeah,
up
safe
the
to time
pack
this
now.
lap. Hopefully we don't have any incidents like we did last week in the Freshman League. That's where most of the penalties, I believe, came from.
As where will Bates decide to go then? We're going to have an aerial shot. Lovely stuff there. Where does Bates decide to go for it? Then he's going to still back up the pack through this final 2 corners. He's gone now, Natty. So Bates is going to lead them then down the main straight. But is that a wise decision from Bates? He's going to be giving a slipstream to Victor all the way down this straight. Victor's still weaving to warm up his tyres. Not going to be able to have a go into turn 1. We've got yellows and oh, well, never mind.
So, Bates has got into turn 1 deep. He's got in really deep into turn 1. And that's cost him a load of positions.
As Ace de Sabo is out, Robert Codfather is out. What has happened there? We've got yellows in sector 3 already. Can we see the safety car redeployed then straight away? I think the game is just going to despawn those cars, Natty. We got Sam. Oh, Infamela, sorry, is off as well. But still, then we've got yellows in the first and final sector. Robert Codfather's car is still there, as this could potentially be.
Thousands off as well.
Yes, the driver's really struggling on this restart.
All 3 sectors.
They're sort of not keeping you abreast of the action. They go back to green flag racing. There we go. But we had Seagulls have GSY Bates going off the track at turn 1. We had multiple drivers crashing out. We had somewhere in the back of the pack there. Robert Codfather and Ace de Sabo have come together as the timing board is still glitching out as well. I don't really know where the closest battles are. But we've got Jutsi over the back of Tunchuri now for the 7th place. He's not going to get the best exit. Here comes Jutsi then. Tunchuri has had a bad exit, what's going to affect him all the way down the straight. Jutsi with the ERS button even, he's going to pull alongside the racing point on the inside line now. Down in towards turn 1, we've got the Ferrari making a move in the background as well. Wheel to wheel now between these two into turn 1. Jutsi gets moved on up into 7th place.
Yeah, it's a good move from Jutsi Kev, and judging by where Robert Codfather and Ace de Sabo's car were on track, they might have crashed after the final corner, or maybe they're going side by side and the car on the outside wants to go into the pit lane. I'm not too sure, but unfortunate for both drivers to retire.
We've got yellows in sector. Oh, Vinchu is off. Vinchu is off, Natty, into the spin. He's managed to keep the car going, but that puts Absolute then up into mid, but he's lost his part of his front wing. Got yellows in sector 2 again, and there's a Ferrari off it. Sabo, we can't keep up here in the commentary box. As Sabo the Mills has gone off now.
I believe Absolute 11 knocked his front wing.
Oh no, Jutsi! I just caught the end of that on stream. We got a Mercedes off of Will's triple O in the barriers, and another safety car has been called. And what is going on here?
We've finally got a little bit of time to just digest what's happened and run through everything. I believe there was the Renault Venture who went off. Absolute went to avoid him, but then hit the back of the McLaren, which is where he lost his end plate.
And then Jutsi
hit the rear wheels of the other McLaren.
I saw Jutsi just spin. It looks like Jutsi got on the power, but it's where he just went into the barrier. But I was going to stack behind his teammate as well, as this race has just gone from bad to worse for the Red Bull guys. But that has put RC8 in a very good position in terms of the championship. He's currently sat in 3rd now on those hard tyres. This safety car will help him stretch the life of those tyres again. Can he get to the end of the race maybe and make up some serious ground on his championship rivals? As I hope we haven't given him the commentator's curse there, but yeah, let's see what RC8 can do. But what is happening in this race? It's like everyone's just like woken up from the first race back from the lockdown or something like that. Drivers really rusty today, going wheel to wheel, it looks like.
Potentially some of the drivers not comfortable with their car setups or their tyres just aren't working around this track, as there seems to be losing the rear of the car is a common thing that's been happening in this race. We've seen quite a lot of people just lose it through the entry and exit of most corners, which is where a few of the incidents and spins have been happening.
And what have you been saying, Natty? Short shifting around this track is crucial to keeping that traction on the rear tyres. These cars obviously right-hand drive, rear wheel drive. Not any hand drive actually, they sit in the middle, but yeah, obviously these cars rear wheel drive, so managing the amount of slip you put through the rear tyres is critical. But only Ellison and Tunchuri then, your two drivers still out there on the soft tyres, so clearly thinking that's the best strategy. Well, speaking of which, Tanturi's just come into the pit lane. So, oh, was that fire? Ooh, could have been a 5-second time penalty there for Tanturi. He's going to go into another set of soft tyres, Natty. And is that a mistake from the Racing Point crew? Because you would have thought that you could get to the end on hards here. From here.
From my testing for the Premier Series race tomorrow, I found that for me the hards.
Are you sure you're going to give this away, Natty?
Could comfortably go a fair few laps.
Could comfortably go a fair few laps, which may or may not be 29.
So maybe Tanturi's going for a more aggressive strategy by pitting onto the soft and maybe going for sort of mediums later on in the race. Maybe he's could be hoping for another safety car potentially. But Edison and Brucey are two other drivers who haven't stopped in this race. They're both being, Edison on the softs and Brucey being on the mediums.
Yeah, I think that when the safety car was called, obviously they were on the other side of the track to the pit lane, so they did want to come in. It really would have wrecked their races, so it makes complete sense why these two cars have stayed out then. But this race has just been, actually we've had more safety car laps than racing laps so far.
And a few penalties at the back as the safety cars.
Hang on, something's happened in the back there. I think we've had Tanturi's got a penalty for colliding with Jitsi. Both Williamses going very slowly, but anyway, coming back to the front then, when does Edison decide to go? Again, it's his prerogative as to where he puts the power down. Keeping it very consistent, keeping the speed consistent, not allowing the safety car to get too far away. Doesn't want to give a slipstream to the McLaren behind him all the way down the straight either. As Edison has gone now. He's gone now. Oh, that's very close to the safety car. Oh no! Damage in the background. McLaren, that's McLaren Hampton. Oh no! And we've had a repeat of the Mugello Grand. Yeah, we've just had a Mugello. Oh, was it Williams going down the inside of the Red Bull? Albagi Red there trying to move on Jutsi, but again at the safety car restart here, Natty. Massive jump at the Red Bull and Ferrari going wheel to wheel. Oh, Infomella's off! Infomella's off on his round. And the exit of turn 4. He's damaged his front wing again there on the exit barrier. But, a Renault with no front wing. That's Vincher. But again here, Natty, we're seeing these incidents under the safety car. Got Bruzzi and Ellison now going wheel to wheel for the lead of the race. But here comes Tonius looking at the inside of the Racing Point as well. The Alpha Tauri of Tonius very close to the Racing Point. Their soft tyres starting to go off. Here comes Ellison then. Oh, but look at the late braking from Ellison. He's in the gravel, Natty. That's going to drop him back a bunch of positions here. He has to be careful going back on the track. Does manage to not take anyone out. It's a good wise driving there from Ellison. But we've got Ellison sector 3 now as well. But with down and a few more cars and straight off the bat here again. Hampton out of the race. We've got Tonios even on the back of Brisbane. It looks to the inside. Can he break later than McLaren? Doesn't manage to do it this time around. Has made a pit stop for those medium tyres as well, but Absolute is back up into 4th place somehow now.
It's been a great restart for Absolute, but I can't say the rest for the second half of the grid is
you've got
Bates there getting past Victor.
Just managed to get past Victor there on the exit of the corner, but we've got Yellows in sector 1. Oh, and it's Brizzy's out. Oh, that's going to be a safety car surely. He's right on the racing line. How has that happened? We've got both McLarens out of this race. Absolute up into the podium positions.
It's Alex got a Mac.
What is going on today? We've got Alex on a Mac round as well. Tanturi's going to fight something crossing the pit lane entry line. As the game has just managed to clear it under waved yellows, and yeah, looks like we're going to have a double retirement then from the McLaren team. Deeply disappointing for them, I'm sure. Game hasn't called a virtual safety car or a full-blown safety car, but we've got the top 3 now. Tonios, RCA and Absolute going at it now. Absolute, after starting in 19th position, fighting his way back up through the grid, has found himself in 3rd position, partly due to circumstance, and just managing to keep his own nose clean. Oh, as RCA actually hit the back of Tonios there, as here comes Absolute up and down the hill even now. This high-speed roller coaster-like section here. Ooh, the corners, look how they fly for these corners, just flat out in the modern day F1 car. RC8's gone, well, looked like he went wide there, but still managing to keep onto the back of Tonio. So a bit of dirty will be playing a factor here as well. As Absolute now tucked under the rear wing of RC8, still trying to make this work, still trying to force the issue here. Coming through the long hairpin onto the back straight. Here comes RC8's going to overtake. Has the DRS, has the slipstream. Decides not to make a move into this corner. Very difficult to make a move stick here, because obviously if you're on the inside for the first corner, you're instantly on the outside for the second part. But he's very close now to Tonios, and surely will be able to make a move here with the DRS and the overtake button available to him, as Tonios has got basically no battery power left, down to 3%. This should be a cakewalk for RC8. Gonna get him even before they get to the braking zone, as RC8 then puts himself up into the lead of the race.
Yeah, good move from RC8. He seems to have conserved more of his ERS, and it's quite powerful in that back straight. One of the overtaking races on the track, but the top three all separated by a second, as the gap between Absolute and Jutsu Kev is about 5.5 seconds. And these three are definitely looking to try and extend their gap to the rest of the field.
Yeah, certainly is. I'm just trying to grab a quick charger for my phone. Yeah, it's disappointing to see all these crashes, Gav, really is, but sometimes it's just the way it is, I guess. The safety car restarts, got Absolute looking at the outside of Tonio's. Can he make this move work then? They're going to be side by side, wheel to wheel, side pod to side pod, down in towards a very tricky corner here. Oh, they're side by side still, as Tonio's manages to keep the move then, so Absolute not able to make the move on the AlphaTauri in front of him, coming to the final two corners now. Oh, it's Tony to the bad exit. That's going to be a track extending warning then for Absolute. But look at the speed that Absolute has now. It's going to be a cakewalk again. Red Bull blasts past the AlphaTauri up into second place. Let's see what he can do about RCA. He's gone very deep on the brakes. And that's going to allow a window of opportunity for Tony. Vince's out now as well. And he's had a crash with Tunturi. That's another safety car.
Another safety car.
They're going to use up their safety cars. I think they only have 5 available in the 50% race, so at some point the game will just stop calling them. We're going to have 14 runners then left in this race.
Jutsu Kev drive through
penalty
for speeding under the safety car.
As you have another safety car here then.
Wow, so another safety car. That's 3 and 12 laps.
Yeah, like I said, Natty, I think we've had more safety car laps than green flag racing, so just shows to show drivers need to be a bit more careful when we're going wheel to wheel. Just make sure that the moves can be pulled off. But I think it's just the nature of this being a new track. First time we've ever done a 50% race around here, and yeah, obviously we probably will see more crashes here than usual around the new track. So yeah, unfortunately the way it just works out sometimes, but that's going to destroy then the gap that RC8 had built up to Absolute and to Jutsi in fourth. This is kind of giving him a second lifeline. I know he does have that penalty, but has sort of given him, well, depends if we have another Mugello-style incident at the safety car restart to see if this is actually saved or doomed Jutsi's race. So obviously with that penalty still to serve then. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see how this one plays out again.
As Jutsi actually comes into the pits, put on the hard tyres and serve a 5-second time penalty. And Sabo's also got a 5 drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car.
As Pierre is saying, he wants to see the safety car in the driver of the day poll. I'm sure we should put Bert Mylander as well in there as well, if you can get that done, Gav.
While we've got a few laps under the safety car, I believe what caused the initial incident. I was looking towards the back of the pack when it happened, and I think the McLaren was using his overtake button on the bank corner. Now, when I've been doing my personal testing, I'm going to say this one. It's really easy to lose the rear.
Natty, intermediates on Ellison's car. That must surely be a mistake.
It's definitely cloudy since the start of the race, but it's definitely not raining.
This is the same thing as we had yesterday happen in the academy. Under the safety car, drivers pitting for the Ellison. That is very, very bold. If that hasn't even started to rain yet, has it, Natty?
I mean, I can see the clouds coming, but they're definitely not going to be raining in the next 2 or 3 laps for these inters to work, and he needs to be careful to keep the racing point on the track under the safety car.
But surely it's too early. He's just going to be burning up those inters. That's I said it before, I'll say it again, that is bold from Ellison.
Well, looking at the deltas, he's losing time to Infamella under the safety car, so when we get back to green flag racing, he's definitely not going to have the grip. But looking into the final sector, actually, the clouds are darkening, but I don't think rain's going to come in the next 2 laps.
I'm riding on board with RC8 now, and as you just said, the clouds are definitely darkening, but it's not even started to rain yet. This racing just throw up curveball after curveball. We really don't know how this is going to play out here. We don't even really know what's going to...
halfway through the race.
Exactly, we're not even halfway through the race. This just turned into an absolute mad Grand Prix we're seeing here.
Wow.
Oh.
So RC8 and Absolute on those hard tyres. Looking in good position for this race though, but rain might be on its way, judging by the clouds at the right.
Oh yeah, but Ellison though has dropped so far behind the rest of the pack. But if we go back to green flag racing now, he's kind of destroyed the races of, well, Sabo, Alex Gunn and Mac were both tucked up behind the Ferrari, unable to overtake. I don't know if the game's going to wait for everyone to be bunched up, obviously. We'll have to wait and see.
Here, he doesn't get disqualified, because if he doesn't close within 10 car lengths of the car in front soon, then
the game will give him a penalty.
Wave him the black flag.
Yeah, certainly, but I think the safety car will be staying out for another lap, so Ellison does have a chance to catch up the rest of the pack on those intermediate tyres, as I'm going to be riding on board with RC8. I'm just trying to look for any possible sign of rain. The exact same thing happened in the academy yesterday. Under the safety car, we weren't sure if the rain was going to come. It did come, but it didn't rain as much as it was necessary for the inters to actually work. But we'll just have to wait and see. This race has turned into, I've said it before, I'll say it again, this race has turned absolutely crazy.
Definitely, and Ellison, when we get under green flag racing, he's got to be really careful he does not lose the rear of that car through the final bank corner. It's really easy to do on a set of soft tyres, let alone a set of intermediates on a dry track.
Yeah, certainly, and I think as the temperature starts to cool down, it will become less grippy out there for the drivers as well. But I can't see Ellison's strategy working here. I really can't. It's not raining at all. There's not even spots on the camera yet.
I don't know whether he made the call, Jeff made the call, who made the call. But...
It must have been Jeff, the cretin.
And imagine the safety car would be in this lap.
Should be. We have all of the cars backed up sufficiently that we could probably go for a safety car restart. Oh, absolutely binned it under the safety car. That was close. Just to keep it on the track, but yeah, Gav, let's definitely hope that this is the last safety car, so that we can have no more retirements. We can actually just go racing now. So, safety car in this lap, then again, lap 15 of 36 here at the Dutch Grand Prix. RC8 is your leader, Absolute is in second, Jitsi down in fifth, does still have that drive-through penalty to serve as well. Edison's gone for a bold strategy, gone to the intermediate tyres in this safety car period, so it's just still not raining, Natty. He's going to drop through the field like a stone, surely. As RC8 giving the safety car a lot of time to move off.
There's the rain.
There's the rain.
There's a splash of rain.
As the rain has literally just started now, as the safety car has been called in. Still nowhere near enough for the interchange period over to intermediates. Infamella's got a penalty already for colliding with another car. We're going to go back to green flag racing it finally. Oh, we've had nearly had another incident, but we're all good so far. Oh, it was a Renault and the Renault and the Red Bull get together down in along the straight in towards turn 1. Sabo's already in the pits as Jutsi's got past the racing point. Now that was a lap car, I believe, as Absolute putting pressure on the Alfa Romeo in front of him. Jutsi does have to come in for that drive-through penalty. With the rain coming down, surely he must have to take it this lap and try and get on the intermediates when he can. That's what Titan Sabo got onto, actually. Oh, so he served it straight. Must have served it just after the safety car restart because he hasn't changed tyres at all. Yeah, it is raining now, but is it raining enough? We still don't know. But look at Absolute and RC8 now, the top 3 cars even. Yellows and Sector 2, there's a Mercedes off. And that's going to be Alex and Mac, who's had a little spin there. But here comes Tony, who's looking at the back of Absolute. We've got 3 Red Bull cars in the top 4 here. You more Yellows in Sector 2. Oh, Williams got. And that's the rain coming down, actually. The rain's coming down more now. And we're going to have to wait and see what happens here as Bates managed to rejoin the track with no further incident. But here comes Absolute. He's got such a run on the Alfa Romeo. RC8 goes defensive. Here comes Absolute. Just he's going in for his time penalty. As now, was Absolute and RC8 going wheel to wheel into turn 1. Absolute on the outside. Can he get a better traction out of turn 1? Down towards turns 2 and 3 now. Around the outside, still these two going side by side. But RC8 is going to come back at the Red Bull now, trying to go round the outside. But Absolute keeps the first position then.
Yeah, a good set of moves from the drivers. I think Victor just got past Dazzle there in turn 1. He's in the soft tyres, and that might actually work for him if he can push a little bit more and get closing the gap to Tonio's, and then hit a set of intermediates. Bates is in for the set of intermediates as well, so we've got 2 drivers on the intermediates.
Ellison, though, still losing time to Sabo in front of him. Just had a massive tank slapper, in fact. But got Triple O now over the back of Dazza in front. As what can Triple O do now? Can he get past Serena down in towards the right-hander of turn 11? So look to the inside potentially. Decides not to go for it now, and still on that overtake where I think his overtake mid might be broken, but Dazza has got no battery left whatsoever. So Dazza could be a sitting duck here to Triple O behind, who DRS hasn't been. Oh, DRS has now been enabled by the race director. So here we go now down the back straight. Jack just has no ERS to defend with. Triple O still has 18% of his batteries. Broken way too late though. Manages to just about keep it on track. That's going to be a wasted opportunity then for the Mercedes driver, not able to get past Dazza at this point in the race. But Yellow's in sector 1, and that's Albagu Breath. He's had another spin and shouldn't really reverse across the track. That nearly took out the racing point of Tunturi, I believe that was. But yeah, the rain really starting to calm down. But Ellison just losing so much time. He's in the pits, Natty. He's already burnt through those intermediate tyres. It's for another set of inters and a front wing change. So that gamble really is not paid off, Natty.
Yeah, that strategy really has a right for him. There's contact between Infamela and Jutsi, and that's spent Infamela round.
Got Yellows in sector 2 now, so that will be for Infamela. But he has been able to rejoin the track with no further incidents, so those will disappear pretty quickly, and indeed do so. But Jutsi there just didn't. It was just a good down to a racing incident, really, wouldn't you say, Natty?
Yeah, there's I think there was enough room for both of them to make the corner, but obviously with the lack of grip, and there's lack of grip, Dazza's round.
I just saw the end of that on stream. That's going to be Dazza coming to the pit shortly. Manages to not retire there, but yeah, the rain really starting to come down now. So we're going to see people coming in for those. We've got Yellows in sector 1. Oh, that's a racing point. That's Ellison who's in the gravel at the exit of turn 7, I believe that is. And now we're going to have Tonios and RC8. Tonios obviously can't go for an overtaking maneuver now. Victor's still in 4th, Jutsy's still in 5th. Dazzo's in the pits now. It's gone to the medium tyres, Natty.
Interesting from Dazzo to go into the mediums.
Yellow's in sector 2, that's the other racing point now. I don't know, it's still Ellison. Ellison going slowly. Spun again here on those intermediate tyres. It's not disqualified. And that's the dangerous thing about going the wrong way around the track in this game, trying to get back on track, trying to keep everything safe, but not able to do it just now. So Ellison's been disqualified, so whether or not that will bring out another safety car here remains to be seen, but in theory it shouldn't do, as we've got Tonios now has dropped off the back of RC8 through that final sector, so not being able to get close enough to make an impression on the Alfa Romeo. So we've only got 13 drivers left in this one, Natty, and having nearly a full grid.
Yeah, it's, a few drivers most drivers I think have retired from. I don't think it's mainly been.
Oh, we've got Yellows in sector 1, Natty. Oh, I believe it was just the Williams going slowly, getting out of the way. But yeah.
Yeah, unfortunate for the drivers. The Sabre's getting past Allison and Mac down the straight, and he's broken way too late into turn 1.
Yeah, he's off
And
the
he's
track.
off into the gravel.
As no one just seems to be able to make a move stick around here in the tricky conditions, just breaking a little bit too late. Got out Baggy Breath and Sabo now close together out on track, but the rain is coming down, Natty, but it's still not wet enough for Inters. It making the track conditions so slippery, and it's so difficult for the drivers to keep everything on track. You can see no one's really being able to make any kind of overtake maneuver, because when they do, there's no grip out on track and they lock up and go into the gravel trap. Oh, there's been a big crash. Victor 90 has gone into a back marker. Oh, we've got Sabo off as well. As Victor 90 and GSY Bates have come together then in the stadium section, and that is... Oh, as Bates has lost it again! These intermediates are not working at all. As Bates is going to try and spin the car around, gets going again, but... Yeah, these inters really not working. It's going to be Victor 90 into the pits then, after running such a good race so far. That is for the inters though, Natty. And serving a penalty as well.
I believe he's... it's not. I don't think it's a scheduled pit stop. I think if he had not got the wing damage, I think he would have stayed out. But because the rain is coming down, I think he's opted for the intermediates in the hope that it does start to rain more.
As GSI Bates got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well. Sorry about that, everyone. It's my stupid alarm going off. But yeah, absolutely. It's going to be in the lead of this race by 3 seconds.
Oh, Sabo's round.
Oh no. Does he have wing damage? No, he's alright.
I believe he kept out the barrier, but losing the rear again. And it's just such awkward conditions for these drivers. It's raining, but it's not raining enough for the intermediates. It's almost at that transition point. It's like it could be lightening up.
You can just see how... You can just see how much Absolute's having to
there's contact! Big contact! And Witter's off into the barrier, he's got no front wing. And there goes
and he's out.
His front left tyre. That might potentially be a
That cannot be another safety car, surely. I think the game's going to just clear it under waved yellows, Natty. There's yet no news of a safety car just yet, so this will be able to clear that car under waved yellow, so we'll be able to keep going racing here, but like... It's just so hard for these drivers to keep it on the track. I can see why, having so many crashes at the moment. It's just really, really difficult conditions, really tricky conditions to get everything right as you need to do in an F1 car around this track. But yeah, things are still going very, very pear-shaped in terms of this race, and the stewards still haven't taken away DRS, so that is still... The cars are still circulating out there at DRS.
Baggy Breath and Sabo pit for the intermediate tyres.
But we've seen these tires. We've seen these tires just not work. We've seen. Oh, has he got Tonios and C8 Tonios is off in the gravel again. But we've seen these tires. Drivers put on these tires, go out, have a few spins, and they're just not working. I've got yellows in sector 1 again, and that's GSY Bates. I think it's gone off at turn 1.
Absolute
absolute in. So is this the time then?
Into the pit. What's the tyre choice? It is the green striped intermediate RCX.
Tonios has had a spin
span.
At the final corner at pit entry. Jutsi stays out. Is that a death sentence for his race? Then Jutsi stays out. There's an extra lap then on the very wet track on those dry tyres. And Tonios, just to add insult to injury, gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He is allowed to serve that now though. Sorry, yellows in sector 2. I think that's had a little half spin there. But yeah, Jutsi Kev is going to get passed here by Absolute on those intermediate tyres now. This is the changeover period, and it's going to Mac gets penalty for speeding in the pit lane as well. As is, it's still got about 13 laps left to go. So Jutsi does let his teammate go through there, so very compassionate driving there from the two Red Bull drivers. They know not to get in each other's way here. Still a little chance of some very good points for the team. At the moment, Jutsi should come out in front of Triple O and still be in third place. He'll be a long way behind RC8, however.
Yeah, definitely, and just a reminder that Absolute 11 started this race from the back of the pack. And somehow made his way up into first as Baggy Breath gets past Dazzle in the pit lane. As I believe it's going to a set of intermediate. So there's only a few drivers now who have stayed out on dry tyres. I believe Jutsi had to stay out after his teammate pit. The DRS has been disabled.
But that will be Jitsi coming into the pits then now. Has managed to keep his car ahead of RC8 in 3rd position, but this will surely be for the intermediate tyres, and is. So let's see what Jitsi could do. Got yellows in sector 1. That's a Renault with Dazza, who's had a spin. And he's got no front wing end plates on that Renault at all. As Bruzzi's left the session, and it's like, oh, he's already retired, so not too much of a surprise then. We've got a virtual safety car. Triple O is retired. How is that? Oh,
he's
no.
lost it on the final corner by the pit lane.
As if we're getting very close to all of the drivers definitely scoring points. Tenturi's had a spin as well on the virtual safety car on those medium tyres. But we're getting very close to all of the drivers scoring points, regardless of where they finish, because you only have 11 runners left in this race now. As that car has been cleared, Savo's slowing down to a halt. Let Tenturi go through.
I'm not too sure what's happening.
Oh, okay, that must be the game. Yes, the game delta time being broken, probably. But yeah, those three all able.
Gets past Savo.
Tenturi has stayed out on those medium tyres. That could potentially be disastrous. As you must think that the rain is going to stop at some point, and you'll be able to stick on those dry tyres, because we're losing so much time now to the back of the pack. Oh, Sabo nearly lost it as well. He looped it on the exit of turn 3. But yeah, Triple O out of this race now as well. Who's next?
Who knows at this rate? How many drivers will finish this race? Not a case of who's going to win for a pole at the end, it's just going to be how many are going to be left by the end.
Yeah, definitely. So we just have to wait and see. It's definitely a race of attrition. It's a race of survival. But
the ultimate drive to survive.
Exactly. It's literally, I was about to say, it's literally drive to survive. But yeah, you've got no drivers now using the overtake button whatsoever. But like I said, as Al-Baghdadi nearly puts it in the gravel there as well. It's a good thing you can't beach the car in this game. We had a lot more retirements otherwise. But Infernal's going to come into the pits now as well again. And that's for a front wing change. Also gets to serve a 10-second penalty. I'm going to assume this is. Manages to get onto another set of intermediates, but a real reverse in fortunes then for the Alfa Romeo team, sorry, the Ferrari team. I think apart from Red Bull, they're the only team with 2 cars still in the race. As Al-Baghdadi's going to be in as well. This will be for a front wing change, will it? Yes, it will be.
Tenturi also finally comes off of those medium tyres and hits what I hope is a set of intermediates.
It is a set of me. Oh, and he's also serving a penalty. But yeah, after what has been an insane race, Absolute is leading with 10 laps to go, then RC8 is a distant second, Jitsi an even more distant third. Tenios is 4th and nearly loses it as I run through the grid. Alex got a Max come back up to 5th. Sabo is in 6th. Infernal is in 7th. Al-Baghdadi is in 8th. Dazza is in 9th. GSY Bates, despite being a minute behind the next car, is still scoring points here. And Tenturi is the last of the cars actually in this race in 11th.
I mean, I'm just looking at the race director and looking at these the strategies. They're quite diverse here. Some drivers making 5 pit stops. It's been quite the race for these guys. But just having a quick look at some of the penalties. Most of the drivers out front are clear of any penalties. Some don't even have warnings.
Just to quickly talk about driver of the day then, we've got Absolute, who's made up 18 positions from his starting position. Alex got a Mac, he's gone up 8 positions, and Infernello, he's gone up 11 positions. Your biggest movers and shakers then in this Grand Prix so far. So we've got 9 laps to go here. Absolute currently leading taking a dominant win. So we've got yellows in sector 3, he's off. It looks like a Williams. It's Al-Baghdadi
heading into the pits. Al-Baghdadi heading to the pits.
That was got scared for a second there. It reminds you of the freshman league race from Spa last season, Natty. Obviously that was a bit different conditions as to why we had so many people retiring, but you got launched by the safety car.
Yeah, it wasn't my finest moment in the league.
Well, to be fair, it wasn't exactly your fault.
No, I blamed the safety car. quite a bit of lag, but
Yeah,
we'll
if
swiftly move over that.
you haven't seen that race in last season, I do urge you to go and watch it. It was another absolute thriller. But basically, Natty, what we're talking about is under the safety car, Natty had a lot of lag, and the game teleported him in front of the safety car, and he then got launched into the stratosphere by Burt Mylander. So that put him out of the race. But yeah, he was actually in the race at that point, and we did give him a commentator's curse by saying it was a Williams one too. I think Ansel Open was your teammate.
Yeah, me and Tiger had the same conversation yesterday under the safety car. Not yesterday, last week, sorry. And one of the safety cars in China. But I remember from the start of this race, we were really questioning how Absolute 11 would, how he would perform in the race, getting past the cars in front. Obviously, we said it's a tricky track to overtake on, but he seems to have somehow made his way through the carnage and has found himself winning the race.
I feel like Absolute has got some like magical good luck aura thing around him. He probably did some kind of, you know, hippie tribute or something to try and get this and get this race going the way that it has. Yeah, I know, but it seems like everything has happened around him. He's just been in the thick of everything. He's come out the other side and currently does lead this race. Obviously not over yet. I don't even know. Let's have a look at the gap to the leader, shall we? Let's just see. Oh, yeah, he's lapped every car now, up until Sabo, who currently sits in 6th position, but we've got yellow to sector 1 again, even though there's no cars going through that section. Don't know what the game's playing at there, but yeah, I had yellow flags there for a split second. Like, every time I see that yellow flag icon come up, I just expect to see someone else in the barrier, but yeah, the rain doesn't look like it's abating either, so could we even go to heavy rain conditions? Jutsy's nearly lost it, and we have got someone who's lost it. Albagu Breath has lost it again in the first sector, and now the yellow flags are out at the right time. He's got no front right wing at all. We're going to have Alex for the mat now, the lone Mercedes, the lone black arrow in this race, and currently in 5th position, about to lap Albagu Breath again in 9th. As Albagu's gone into AI, he shouldn't be doing that. As Albagu Breath in his AI, unless he's disconnected, he really shouldn't be in AI mode at all at any point during the race, even on the safety car. They've got Inframella's lost his front wing again, Natty.
I didn't see what happened there to Inframella. He seems to have lost his right end play.
Oh, he's in the gravel! Sorry to interrupt you there, Natty. He went off into the gravel track on the Jack gravel trap, sorry, on the exit of turn 6, and that is another big surprise, I guess.
Inframella started P18 ahead of Absolute on the last row of the grid, but was made up 11 places in this race. But that front wing change is going to cost him quite a few seconds in the pit stop, I would imagine. That
being said, he is still 23 seconds. Oh no, still 22.8 seconds ahead of Dazzler, who's currently in 8th, so might be able to come out ahead of him. Still have to wait and see, but Albagu Breath is in the pits now again for another front wing. Williams Mechanic's running out of front wings, it seems like. They have the same speed every other lap. And is stuck in the pits. Albagu Breath was stuck in the pits there for a split second, but he has got back underway now. Still absolutely in the lead of this race, and Infamella picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding into pit lane. R8 does a nice little Tokyo drift style thing there out of turn 1. Still in 2nd place though, not crashing out just yet. Infamella in for a new front wing as well. Gonna have Dazzler come through the final corner. Will Infamella beat Dazzler out of the pit lane then? So Infamella coming down the pit lane. Still at 37 miles an hour. Here comes Dazzler now on the outside line in towards turn 1. Can he beat the Ferrari out the pits? It's going to be close. Just can't do it. Looks like, but Infamous is still going slowly. Dazzler already up to speed on these warm intermediate tyres. Can he make a move here on the Ferrari? It's currently our closest battle out on track here. There's one mistake from either driver. We'll see the other one leapfrog past and up into 7th position.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to take about a lap maybe for Infamella to get those intermediates up to a decent temperature. Dazzler's had 4 laps on his inter, so he'll be trying to maybe push the Ferrari driver into a possible mistake as he tries to heat up those colder intermediates. Probably our closest battle on track.
I definitely think just that gap just sitting out to 1.2 seconds now between the two. So if that's what's going to try and make this move, he has to really push on here, try and close that gap to the Ferrari in front, try and get this move done, and not put himself up into 7th place, get some more points on the board then. But yeah, if you're just joining us, if you can, rewind the stream and go back to the start, because this has been an absolutely crazy one so far. Hallmarks of the Tuscan Grand Prix from a couple of weekends ago. But we've had, just to run you through the retirements from this, you've got Triple O out in our most recent retirement. We've got Victor out, Vincher out, Brizzy and Hampton, both McLarens out of this race. Robert Codfather is also out, Ace Sabo is out, as well as Ellison. He was our first retirement. He got disqualified for essentially going the wrong way. No, sorry, Ellison wasn't our first retirement. Sorry, Ace Sabo was, but Ellison at the bottom of the timing sheets due to being disqualified. Turned into a little bit of a free practice session really for Absolute. You can see the spray emanating off the back of the Red Bulls. It comes down the main straight once again to start lap 32, 36 here. So 5 laps to go then. Absolute still leads 13.5 seconds back to RC8 in second, and just around out your podium so far, just getting past the lapped Williams there, as a Williams being lapped, nothing new there then. So with the one thing that's probably the only normal thing in this race. But surprisingly, despite having to create new front wings out of the battered old ones, Williams still have 2 cars in the points, and along with Ferrari and Red Bull at the moment, are the only team to have 2 cars still in the race. It hasn't even started this race with 2 cars, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's been such a crazy race. I mean, we ended quali thinking there might be a small chance of rain with an ideal 1 stop. But we've got Infamela Sabo, who's made 5 stops, Al Breath has made 6 pit stops, Jutsi Kev in 3rd place has made 4 pit stops this race. And the 4-stop strategy I don't think was plan A for 100% of these drivers.
So I think a 6-stop strategy, that must be like some kind of new record in Gavra racing, surely. I think it matches the one in real life F1. But I think, actually, let's try and get some conversation going in the chat. If you know that someone's made more pit stops than Natty in like a... sorry, not more pit stops than Natty. More pit stops than Al Breath in a Gavra racing session. Tell us. It'd be interesting to see if that is actually a Gavra racing record then, 6 stops being the most in the race.
I'm going to have to re-watch the 100% race at Monaco.
Oh no, yeah, you made like 12.
I think there was quite a few pit stops in that race. I probably made a fair few using my teammates' front wings because I ran out on my own.
Although we will have to, yeah, if you do know about that, then let us know in the chat, get some conversation going. As a Sabo closing up on the back of Alex on the mat now, actually. So Sabo really, like as you said, Natty, I think you said on the podcast a couple of times, has really good pace in these wet conditions. Has just been very quietly cruising up on the back of the Mercedes now for 5th place. Can Sabo make a move here? 4 laps left to go. You can see, as Alex on the mat had a bad exit, you can see Sabo just hunting down the Mercedes, the Scarlet Ferrari, hunting down its prey through the murk here in the Netherlands at Zandvoort. Now onto the main straight. Can Sabo use the overtake button to try and get past the Mercedes? Alex Mack hasn't seen him coming there. Here comes Sabo, pulls out of the spray, manages can't make a move there and down and towards turn 1, and they have to be careful because they're about to be lapped by Absolute. Again.
Getting past Al Breath as the battle for 5th place continues. And like you say, I mentioned that Sabo had some pace in the wet. I experienced it myself in the Premier Series last season when it closed about 20 seconds on me in about 5 laps. Or something ridiculous.
Here comes Sabo looking at the outside around turn 6, and nearly just about can't make it work. Sorry to interrupt, Natty.
Yeah, there's fresh, I was going to say fresh intermediate. He's actually done 1 lap more than Alex Gunnermack, but it seems to be Alex Gunnermack seems to be struggling a little bit on the rear.
Sabo's had to get out of the way for. But look at this is the chance he's been waiting for. He's going to have the inside line going down towards turn 8. How clever was that from the Ferrari driver?
Alex really late on the brake.
Oh no. That's going to bring an abrupt end to that battle then, but Sub and Mister using the blue flags to absolute perfection then, getting past Alex Mack and up into 5th place. A lovely piece of crafty driving from the Ferrari.
I remember using that old trick on the AI back in the old F1 games, moving up away the blue flag, and he's timed that to perfection there.
As Natty's just admitted live on air, he used to get lapped by the AI. And now we have GSY Bates and our Baggy Breath, the Williams pair close together, as our Baggy Breath actually letting his teammate through then up into 9th place. No damage done to the other Williams car, so unsure as to why they each other go. I guess just trying to not crash into each other is probably a good policy to keep fulfilling. But anyway, to bring it back to the front, Absolute still in the lead then. 16.4 seconds now back to RCA. From the qualifying to the race, I don't think anyone expected this. Absolute in the lead by 16.4 seconds now.
Yeah, I mean, I had my suspicion of rain when the drivers were on the mediums, but I didn't think it would lead to this sort of drama here in the Dutch Grand Prix. And it's quite a big gap between everyone as Jutsy's now coming up to lap Turi.
Actually, this race has been really topsy-turvy. Seems to have all of the action at the beginning, and things have definitely quietened down now towards the end. But I think this race will always be remembered for the... Oh no! Absolute's lost it! On the final corner on lap 35, Absolute has spun out of the lead! And he has to do one more lap here with no front wing, and RCA has just been handed an absolute godsend of a chance here to win this race. You can see him coming in the back of shot here. It's 4.6 seconds. That's like the end of the Silverstone Grand Prix. Here comes RCA. Here comes RCA 4 seconds down the final lap of the race. Can he get Absolute and win this race? Just as we were saying, things were petering down here. Absolute spins at the final corner. RCA the gap 3.2 seconds. I think he knows that Absolute is spun out on the final lap. I really hope Absolute can keep this, because it's going to be the biggest commentator's curse I've ever done. But here comes RCA at the gap 3 seconds. He's getting a second in the first sector already. Can Absolute just keep it going to the end of the race? He's got no front right end plate whatsoever. RCA 2.7 seconds now. He's gained over 1.5 seconds, sorry, in one sector alone. Coming through sector 2 now. It's not a very long lap here. Absolute just needs to keep going. I don't know about penalties, Nanti, if you can check the penalties really quickly. Absolute spinning on the penultimate lap of the race. Here comes RC8, 2.6 seconds. Looks like Absolute might be able to keep it here to come into the stadium section for the final time. Got a lapped car of Alex Mack in the way. 2.3 seconds now. It's going to be a dramatic end to the Dutch Grand Prix if Absolute can he hold on for his second win of the season through the penultimate corner, through the final corner now on lap 36 out of 36, and like the British Grand Prix, Absolute's going to be able to keep the lead and is going to win the Dutch Grand Prix. As big apologies for the commentator's curse there, Absolute.
That was... I'm going to use the word close there.
That was very close. Just as just as we said things were petering down.
We pretty much had events from every single race this season. Last lap drama, safety car collisions, incidents. Last lap, I've lost the ability to speak. As there's an Infernal's round as well.
Oh no! And that's going to hand an extra point to Daza potentially. Infernal can't get it going. Does manage to keep it going though. Not as dramatic as Absolute and RC8, but yeah, what an absolutely mad race. What a mad race. It's going to be capped up by the driver who started in 19th position, winning here, 11 finishes. If you have just joined this stream, rewind it and watch the whole race again. I definitely know I will be when this gets uploaded to the YouTube, or even now on the Twitch with a prime subscription. But what an insane race then, which I think Absolute's going to win. The game should give him driver of the day, to be honest, and does. So Absolute then's going to take the win here in the Netherlands after starting in P19. I think he did get 100% of the to get 100% of the Driver of the Day vote as well.
And congratulations to our Absolute and the rest of the podium, but congratulations to anyone who predicted the outcome of this race. I don't think anyone was expecting the dramas that we've had here in the freshmen. Once again, never failing to disappoint.
Yeah, and weirdly though, it's quite a conventional podium with your top 3 in the championship being the 3 drivers on the podium as well, somehow, from that race. But I think those 3 being on the podium just definitely does not tell the full story of this race, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've had pretty much everything that you could ask for in this race. Overtakes, spins, unfortunately a few crashes as well.
Rain.
And rain. Qualifications and everything.
Just to run you through the drivers who'd actually finished the race, so Absolute just managed to hang on by literally just over a second. Does take fastest lap as well from RC8. Jitsi in 3rd, Tonios is in 4th, Sabo and like your top 5, Alex Gonamak is in 6th, Infamela 7th, Dazza in 8th, GS58's in 9th, Abaku Breath is in 10th, and Tenturi then the only driver to not score points, 3 laps behind. Absolute's going to round out the finishing drivers today, but we had 8 retirements and in that race, Natty. I mean, this I think you've just said it, I'm going to say it again, never fails to disappoint, this one. Absolutely never fails to disappoint, this league. But yes, go very well. I think round of applause for all of the drivers who kept it on the track in the wet conditions, and even those who just got to the end. That was really intense, and very much well done to Absolute as well. He managed to hold on till the lead of the race. You know, we did kind of give him a bit of a commentator's curse, but yeah.
Wow, I cannot wait for next week in the Spanish, well, I believe it's the Spanish Grand Prix.
Yes.
And if it's anything like this one, then, well, we're in for a treat, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be absolutely insane.
Yeah, definitely. That's gonna round us off here then for round 3 of the Freshman League here at Zandvoort. A crazy race. If you didn't watch the whole thing, go back and rewind it. You're definitely in for a treat. We had such drama in the opening section, and right as we think it's gonna calm down, nope, absolutely not. It's gonna come back again and hit us in the face with some more action. But we still got 26 of you watching, 201 comments. Absolutely insane, guys. Well done to all of the drivers, and we are always looking for new drivers. So if you'd like to join up, message Gavra or one of the senior admin teams for this league. I believe Krauser handles the F1 stuff. Join the Discord, all that lovely stuff, and yeah, that's going to round us out here for the Dutch Grand Prix.